Hello, everybody. I'm here today to talk to you about power of data. But before I do that, I will have a very simple question to all of you. So, how do you think we can solve the biggest problem of the world? Can we do that? We are actually here in the last 2 days to find answers to a lot of those questions. How to improve the economy right now, how to improve industries, and how to improve a lot of little troubles in our own personal and life. So, can we do that? I think we can. And it has been a little problem for me as well in my business life. For the last 10 years, I was trying to find an answer to a very simple question. How can I make people interested in storage? As you can expect, it's not the sexiest subject. And not only to make public interested in storage, but to make business professionals the new buyers in IT. So cloud architects, data analytics people, and also the broader ecosystem of our partners who not necessarily have storage as a primary business driver on the list. What also is important for us, the storage people, is to find out how can we get access to the rooms of CIOs and CFOs and all the people who make business decisions these days. But actually, we have been very wrong. Because it's not about the storage. It has never been about storage. It has always been about data. It is the data that has all the answers. And it's not only our view, it's the industry view. Just pick up The Economist from May this year, the big cover, how powerful data has become in this century. So what really is changing and why data is changing everyday's life, not only business? So let's look at the simple questions, what we can do with data and who started this whole discussion. So as you know, in the earliest day of IT, data has not been meaningful. It was all about the volume. This time, it's not volume anymore. It's the power that data brings to businesses. So you have companies like Facebook or Google who used to use data to just drive better advertising to their customers and consumers, till they really realized that the true power of data sits somewhere else. Actually, it sits behind all their artificial intelligence and what's called cognitive systems that now create different business models and drive new revenues. And also build new companies for those companies so they can sell them and create extra profit. So there's a lot of numbers that proves the story of data, as you can see. We have created the biggest amount of data in the last 2 years than ever in the history before. But what that means to you, it means that your life has changed dramatically. Every single day in your life going forward will change and be influenced by data. We should start thinking how not to be just data scientists, but how to become data visionary, because new businesses are created as we speak in data area, in data world. One of the things to look at is a number of 180 zettabytes. That is the number that IDC predicts that we will create in terms of data by 2025. Few years only. We are actually running out of the letters in the alphabet to describe that process, if you know what I mean. So what's actually going to happen in the next 60 seconds in this room when we chat? A lot of pictures of your dinners or breakfast, lunches will appear online. A lot of funny cat videos will be published. A lot of your auto-response emails will be sent because you're at the conference. But that's not about this. It's about, again, the power that sits behind this creation, the businesses that will be influenced. So if you look at a little bit the history, why we call data oil, is because in 18th and 19th century, the world was driven by coal, gas, and primarily by what we called a black gold, so actually oil. And oil companies has created the most powerful business ever. They have been the most profitable companies that world have ever seen. Not anymore. Not that they're giving up, but actually the data companies are coming in place to replace the oil industry. So one thing that I really want to focus on these days is that number. Do you know what is that 1%? This is what we are actually analyzing this day. So Forbes predict that there is a less than 1% of the data that we actually analyze. And this is really scary, because the power in analytics is amazing. So look at the cost of extracting genome back in 1995. It cost us $100,000. In 2005, it was a $5K. Now, it's below $100 in some countries, and in Europe, it's still around $1,000. It's almost nothing. That creates an incredible amount of data. And it's not anymore about the basic analytics that all of us in the business already have. It's about what we call a supreme analytics, the analytics that can work on a real live stream data that come to your business minute by minute, because those really matters. So yes, information and data is the new oil, and it has been for a long, long time. One of the things you should keep in your mind is if the data you get access to is free, what does that mean? That means that you are a data, you are a product. Those companies there are training their algorithm on you. Think about this. Think about that every time you click accept when you are buying an app or letting organizers of different events, conferences, proceed with your data. And yes, we've been talking a lot about different business models and disruptors. You know all those companies. I don't want to come back to that, how they disrupt the market. I just want to show you that they're driving totally different new economy for us. From the perspective of who is a competitor and who is your partner. Because in a tech world, we all now partners, competitors, and clients to each other. Some of those companies care more about the data of the other companies than actually about the business model, like Facebook did about Instagram, 1 billion, or WhatsApp, 19 billion. But on the other hand, they're trying to partnership with governments. In the UK, DeepMind, which is the Alphabet AI unit, is partnering with NHS to actually use their data anonymously from the patients to create as much insight as possible and then give it back, not to the patients, but to the hospitals, so they can build a better pricing models for all those patients and the customers. It is really important. Another statistics that you can see on the screen is about digital transformations. So almost 70% of CEOs and CIOs will have digital transformations in their strategy by end of next year. What does it mean to you? If you haven't appointed yet chief data officers or data transformer officers, you are behind. You should think about this. Also, one statistics I will ask you to look at is how many 500 companies, Forbes 500, or how many biggest 1,000 enterprises are in their earning calls showing their revenue stream from AI businesses. It's almost 200 of them. And again, that number goes up every single week. So there is a lot of businesses that data impacted, influence. Obviously, medical services, we know all those virtual reality operations and surgeries that are happening right now. In aviation, a lot of pilot training centers are buying VRs to allow pilots to truly be in immersive experience when they're going through the trainings. And my favorite examples from the automotive company, look at Volvo. They produced almost 14 petabytes of storage in the last 20 years. But in the last 6 months, through their driverless car entity, it has been almost 5 petabytes, 6 times more in their entire operation time. That is a really striking number. So we are all living in this world. Either you want it or you don't. You're part of one of those boxes. Probably at some point you're going to be part of all those boxes, and you do have to accept it. I know it's hard for lots of people because they don't see this on a daily basis, but now imagine this. You can, in the UK, to log into your bank account, using your voice. And it's a standard, absolute system. If you don't believe me, believe in numbers. $4 trillion revenue that will come out of this business. And what I just want to leave you with as a final thought, again, if you do not pay for data, you are the data, you are the product. Think about this. We need to change the way that regulation are working with data. There will be some talks here again about GDPR, privacy and security, but it's not about this. Be in control. So you, Mr. Startup, and you, Mr. Business, think about not only about your infrastructure, but primarily of your data strategy. Thank you.